as we always are every Tuesday with legendary strength coach to talk all the important fitnessy things, answer all your important questions, and have a little fun along the way. Dan, good morning. How are you?
Hey,
Uh,
I am good. I am good. I've had a good week since I've seen you. Seen you. There's good American English.
yep.
Uh, I weighed in at 204, which is
Ooh, yeah.
continuing
And for context, your original goal was 207, I think, right?
207. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the nice thing is I'm uh, since the joke in the house now is ABC, always be cutting, but which I think's hilarious. But we I'm still doing the maintenance stuff, and I donated blood on Sunday, which I do try to do 5 times a year, and my blood pressure was 115/71, and my heart rate was 58. So those are numbers I'm very happy about.
Two
Yeah,
perfects. Yeah, that's great news, Dan.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
things are good. I'm working on a new book, and it's starting to get a little bit momentum, which is always nice. You know how it goes in a book. Uh,
Yes.
I can't decide if I should make 5 books, part one, part two, or one book, just one massive. But we'll figure it out.
What's the theme of this one?
It's going to be the art of coaching. It's my
That's right. You did mention that last
yeah.
time. Okay, just make sure it was the
So that's
same
going
project.
well. And my new program has me bench pressing, so I'm thinking within a few more hours I'm going to go.
Ooh.
I haven't benched
Pump those pecs up.
yeah, in a while. So I've been doing inclines and militaries and all, but I haven't benched, and so I'm only doing there's nothing fancy. I'm just adding it in. So it's my coach told me to do it. So
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Good. You follow instructions.
yeah,
Right. It's good.
You know what? I'm very good at that.
It's good to be good at that, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, that is a skill. I mean, maybe we should spend a minute talking about that. How just important it is to just be able to follow instructions. Right?
I have in the book I talk about Coach Mon. It's the famous story. What's the secret? Lift 3 days a week, throw 4 days a week for the next 8 years. And I didn't follow those instructions. And the thing is, my junior year, actually, it's weird because I was physically falling apart my junior year from overtraining when I almost got killed with that discus to the head.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, in a sense, the discus probably that injury probably saved my career, because after that I had to take a long time off. I was not myself. I was really struggling, and that's when I first started doing the enough concept.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Good.
I didn't stick to it because I don't listen to coaches.
Well,
until I
who
got older.
sticks to something once it
That's
starts working, right?
Yeah,
Obviously.
It's working.
What sort of fool would continue on a proven path, right?
Let me mess it up as hard and fast as I can.
Yeah, we've all been there, all done that. Yeah.
I'll go on, and I like the threads. Over there in the subreddit on kettlebells, people come up with variations of the armor building formula daily. Over at Strong First a couple months ago, everyone had better ideas but what I'll notice is, I say, let me know how it goes. Give me feedback. I never get the feedback, which makes me think
people are just tinkering, but never following through. Yeah.
And it's fine to tinker. Yesterday I had my weed whacker, the head broke, and so I got a new, and what I'm going to do to put it on is I'm going to follow the directions, you see. And you've heard of this, haven't you? Following the directions.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of a term I heard. It was in music, and I think it's brilliant, right? Where somebody was kind of picking apart somebody else because this person was an amazing musician, but when they spoke, they didn't seem particularly intelligent.
Yeah.
And what was conveyed was that you don't need to be super intelligent. You just need to have what he called dumb practicality, right? the ability just to practice, not overthink it, do your drills, follow instructions. And to some extent, being intelligent is kind of like a hindrance because you start overthinking, you start analyzing, you start tweaking. What you need is just dumb practicality, right? You just need to here's the plan. This is the path to stay on, how you'll get better. So go into brute brain and just do it, right?
Yeah.
Analyze after if you want, but you just, I mean, what a difficult thing to do though, right? To have that just dumb practicality to get
Yeah.
something done.
Well, and
There's magic there, right?
and genius. I mean, this week, Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys, who
Yeah,
many consider I mean, certainly a pioneer. And when you listen to Brian Wilson, I mean, I've seen interviews with him discussing his process versus Paul McCartney, who famously had a song that went ham and eggs. He turned that into yesterday, ham and eggs. That was, I mean, sometimes ham and eggs becomes yesterday, and sometimes you drive yourself crazy trying to get a little better.
yep, yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. When I look at what people do to just simple training programs and how they just met, I mean, I've got all these Bosco books back here from the 50s and Miles Callum's book, and it's just the instructions are so vague, and it's just like, well, the idea is as you do the workout for 12 weeks, you'll figure out what's heavy and light, and if it says do 12 to 20 reps, you'll figure out that in certain exercises that's a lot
yeah.
of reps. I imagine hack squats for 20s would be a nightmare for me.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. So I guess what's the point here? I want to invite people to use more of that dumb practicality in their lives. You're all too intelligent. Just try and lower the levels a little bit.
Well, I mean, the things I'm most successful at are, I mean, like, I think I'm really good at flossing, because I set up a system for flossing.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, everybody listening knows you should floss, everyone, but how do you do it? Well, I mean, I could probably invent a new floss stick or something, or I could just floss.
Just use that dumb practicality.
Dumb
right?
practicality. I mean, there's folks. I mean, I think that's the lesson of the day. I do sometimes just be dumb.
Yeah. That and just don't start asking too many questions until you're far enough along that those questions even make sense. I mean, just for the process of anything. I mean, I'm always going to go back to music because it's the closest analogy to me. Is I was told pretty young, and I showed some good dumb practicality here, but my instructor that I had some bad technique, my picking hand, and it seemed to be working. But he said, "Look, long term, this isn't going to work. So I need you to change your technique, and here's how you're going to do it." Blah blah blah. And of course, like anything new, it felt awful, and it just felt absolutely awful, and it felt awful for a long time until it didn't, right? But for whatever reason, I was able to just use that dumb practicality and do those drills, and not question it, not overthink it, and just deal with it, not feeling good, not even seeming like any progress was being made. Like, I don't see how this is going to make me a better player or whatever, and then it did. And now I'm very grateful for that. So I try to keep that lesson. And of course, there's many, examples where I have not been good on the dumb practicality front. But that's one example where I was decent, and I try to remember that and apply that to other areas of my life. Yeah, that you have to let the process work for a while, sometimes a long while, maybe like 9 months, before it even makes sense to start trying to analyze it too much or ask questions or whatever. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So last year I planted these bluebeard, these bushes that are very bee friendly. Oh, by the way, my bees are thriving, in case anyone's concerned about my bees this year. They're doing great.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think I just have 4 queens, but it seems like a lot more than that this year. So I bought these bluebeard and planted bluebeards because they're very bee friendly here in beloved, here in the beehive state. And I'm sitting around, and I don't see the flowering. Okay, well, they don't flower until late summer, early fall. So I can't rush my bluebeards to flower faster. I can't do it. I can water them, I can fertilize them, I can take care of them, but I can't rush them. I got to tell you, that's one of the things I think when you garden, I mean, maybe farming's the same, but I know when you garden, you learn that patience. You can't make the tomatoes come out faster than they want to come out.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And gardening is such a good way to explain what we do in training of all kinds, from guitar to, if you want to harvest, you have to plant. And nature does a lot by themselves, but you have to
nurture too.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to nurture a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a great analogy. I might get into gardening just to be able to pull more analogies out of it. I think Christine's garden's a little overrun by some intruders right now, but well, we'll deal with that at some point. All right, let's take some questions.
You bet.
Some good stuff. Anthony wants to know if the ENTs are still attacking. I think he's referencing a thing that I just put up on Facebook. Our big old tree in our front yard just got knocked right the heck down yesterday. We were all sitting in the living room, and boom, we thought like a tornado was landing, but nothing. Like literally, the Adirondack chairs, like 5 feet from the tree, weren't even moved. Apparently, it's just one of these straight line wind gusts that just like snipered the tree down. Huge tree, right?
Yeah,
wild. I mean, kind of scary because like we're around that tree all the time, and if it would have went the other direction, would have went like right into our house. So fortunate nobody got hurt. Yeah,
wind shear.
Yeah, I don't know, crazy, but yeah, big old tree came down, smashed. Fortunately, didn't hit the cars. It did smash our little light post, so we got a mess to clean up out there today. But yeah. We'll deal with it. All right. Steven says, are there any good strength movements used during the 10,000 swing challenge that you probably wouldn't usually think of? Maybe from the 6th movement?
I mean, in the original, I mentioned 1 day a week doing Turkish get-ups between clusters. I would say now, for most people I work with, the single arm half kneeling press, hang. If you want to do Turkish get-ups, but goblet squats, the push I mentioned, the hang, the goblet squat, those are the best. You could certainly do a Turkish get-up, but the 10,000 swing challenge, just I mean, it's the idea. It's only 20 days if you do it the way I recommend it, but yeah, whatever. Those would be my suggestions. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's keep moving on here. Justin just has a bit of a comment. He says he just realized that he has now done his what's called not exercise morning routine, light weights and mobility. Takes about 10 minutes every day for more than 6 months, including while traveling. Not bad, my friend. Congrats on
in fact,
awesome consistency there. Yep.
I mean, that's a good habit. I mean, I'm impressed. Yeah, that's a good job for you. Yeah.
Yep.
One of the things I got to be a little better at, I was getting up every day and going for a 2,000 step walk, but with with Erica's surgery, dog sitting, Gracie, I kind of ran out of the habit. It's funny. It only took a few days to lose the habit. And that's so Jim, Justin, or that is, sorry, calling you Jim Jordan is offensive. I apologize.
Justin Jordan.
Justin. Yeah. So that's outstanding. Good job on that. And that's how you set things up, isn't it? Isn't that the key right there? Boom.
He's got a good connection to the point we made earlier. He says when he broke in as a professional in comics, and Justin, feel free to plug your work again here. Yeah. People remarked that for a new guy who's pretty polished. Well, he says, I'd written thousands of pages a year for a decade. So do the reps, then if necessary, get fancy. Sounds like some.
Justin, what have you done? I'd love to see some of your work, man.
Yeah, post it below, Justin. We'll give you some.
In fact, there's a famous Batman episode. Oh gosh, it'd be the turn of the century, where the license plate says P and B on it, which was the form, power, and bulk that we were all on, which was kind of fun.
Which Batman is that from? The old Adam West one or the?
Oh no! It's from the not turn of the century, turn of the millennium. Sorry, well, it was a turn of the century, wasn't it? I don't know.
The animated series, the one in the '90s, the Batman. That was the one I grew up. I loved watching.
I also have he also sent me out a picture of Superman in the hallway, thanking me for my newsletter, because he could only leap small buildings before he met my work.
Before he did Dan John's.
You want to see it?
Let's see it? Yeah, go for it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, in fact, it's a little relevant. There's a new Superman movie coming out, I believe. So hopefully that is sufficiently entertaining. I'll probably go see it.
So this, that's the hallway. That's a picture of me in high school. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, big, and bulky.
Oh, you can see I got my the door to my heater open. Yeah,
We got
it's this one
Dan,
here.
an episode of Cribs here, and Dan John. Oh yeah, there's Superman. Look at him right there.
Is that
Awesome.
good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can't read the text; it's a little small, but people can screenshot and zoom in. So
Yeah. Okay. And then
that's, right.
that's another
Cool.
piece of art. Me. And
Oh
then
yeah, look at that. That's cool.
And then here's my fun little basement.
Beautiful.
Yeah. There.
Cozy, cozy, cozy.
And then if you decide to break into my house, you won't last long.
No, it'll be very short-lived.
Yes, it'll be
bad idea, right?
I think the term is bad.
So Justin's work is Luther Strode spread. Mine is A Long Lonesome Grave horror. Appreciate the offer, Justin. I don't know if we're connected via email, but I would love to take you up on that. So let's make sure we chat. And everybody else, go support the good man.
Okay, what do you say?
Luther Strode spread. Mine is A Long Lonesome Grave horror. So I'm not like hugely into that scene.
I don't know what those are,
but I think I'd like to be. I feel like I would. I mean, I've always loved.
Does it have to be a post office box, or can we use my address?
Yeah, let's go for it. All right, Justin, connect with us via email. We'll love to take you up on that. Yeah. All right, let's grab a few more questions and stuff here. Wayne says, speaking of questions, how do you keep your patient when asked the same darn thing over and over? Well, yeah, I know Dan gets a ton of the same questions. I get a lot of the same questions too, but I always remind myself that even though it's an old question for me, it's not for everybody, right? There's tons of people. There's tons of people coming into these circles all the time, and a lot of the same questions are good questions. So I never have a problem with this because I'm always excited and encouraged by people who are coming into the fold. So I hope that nobody on this is ever shy to ask a question, no matter how much they think it may have been asked before. So. Because look, and I try to put myself in a position like there's all sorts of new stuff I'm always getting into. So I'm that guy, right? I'm that guy in some area or other where I'm asking the question to somebody that they've been asked 1 billion times before. And certainly I don't want to have, be answered like I'm some flagrant idiot who should know better. We're all in that position. So I just try to keep that in mind. Doesn't annoy me. And it gives me opportunities to hopefully polish and refine my answer too. Get better at it. Yeah.
Well, folks, that was very positive to hear Patrick say that. I would say sometimes I guess it's two kinds. There's two sides for me. Just to move on. If it's a question like somebody asked me something about, I'm new, I'm trying the armor building complex, I'm exhausted, and then there's like a point of clarification that makes me go, I can see why you would think that. Okay. Like somebody was doing the 2, 3, 5, 10 press ladders without putting the bells down. I mean, how do you make that mistake? But they're new, and they're using 8 kilo bells, and you can probably stand there with 8 kilo bells. So I'm okay with that. The questions that I don't like, or when people ask me, why don't you like burpees or lunges or any other stuff? I don't necessarily think has value because I've said it, and then people get really adamant. Well, explain to me why you don't like it. Well, there are some vegetables I don't like. I'm not going to explain to me, Dan, why I can't think of any at the top of my head. Okay.
Well, I will say here, this is because you're making a good point. There is a certain courtesy that isn't afforded. Like, so if somebody asks me something on this question and then I give them resources, like, hey, here's an article that I wrote on this that answers it in very detail. And they clearly come back and keep asking things that are addressed in the article without reading the article. Now you're getting a little annoying, right? Right. That's not courteous, right? If you're given a response that's tailored and meant to help for you because somebody has spoken, or here's a podcast where Dan and I talk about this in depth, please go watch that. And then if you have other questions, follow up. But then to just ignore that entirely and that can be a little annoying, but understandably so. Yeah. So if you're asking questions, don't be shy about it, but also, take the advice or counsel that somebody gives you. And if they're directing you towards other resources, at least pay them the courtesy of consuming those resources before you continue to follow up. I will say that, right?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, there's a couple of points you make that I think are really important. It's, in fact, I had an article on that called The Art of the Follow-Up Question years ago. And very often, what do you mean by that? And I'm always surprised how someone will ask me a question about something and they don't even they don't know. There's a good example. In fact, I write it in this new book I'm writing. Very famously, in about 1969 or so, a nuclear expert was speaking at a thing, and a student raised her hand and said, "Why don't we just get rid of nuclear weapons?" And I guess he looked down like this and mumbled into the microphone, "If only it was that simple." And I've always used that. I've always thought that was brilliant because, yeah, the easiest thing to do is to just, honestly, it would be very easy. Tomorrow, we're going to get rid of the entire nuclear arsenal of every country. Got that? Did everyone hear what I said?
Simple.
Everyone agree? Everyone agree? Good.
Yep.
Now make it happen. You know, it's sometimes someone will ask a question.
We're going to get rid of all fast food in the United States.
Yeah. Dan, what do you think about ultra processed food? I think it's terrible for you. I honestly am to the point now that it's terrible. Okay, why don't we just get rid of it? If only it was that simple. I mean, just think McDonald's alone. You know, I remember McDonald's discussing how they taught America to say thank you. And the number, is it 1 out of 9 Americans or 8 Americans has worked at McDonald's?
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, Doug, Justin, that's Doug's work right there in the hallway. Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's funny. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank you. It's a good question. So, I mean, I don't mind answering the same questions, especially if it, like when somebody asked me why I don't like Simple and Sinister. I mean, I explained it why I don't like it. You know, it's to me, Simple and Sinister is a part of a workout. It's not a whole training. I mean, it's fine if that's what you're doing. And we're going to get, someone's going to shoot me down online for saying that. But the problem with minimal programs is that they're minimal and they're good for what they're good for. But then to be able to do only 2 exercises means you have to come in with a lot of other tools to do 2.
Yeah, right. And we have talked many times about why we're not particularly huge fans of the 2 exercise program, right? Yeah. And let's take a few more here. Justin says that that artist of yours, Dan, is also the one who created The Mask, which was adapted loosely into the Jim Carrey movie. Yeah, what a movie that is. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I think there's a sequel, isn't there? Like The Son of the Mask. I have to put that on tonight.
And
treat my wife.
It's, if you can watch it, you're a better man than I. The most interesting thing about The Mask is Siskel and Ebert's review of it. And it's worth watching because one of them says about Cameron Diaz, you're watching a star being born in the movie. And it's like, and you watch it now and it's pretty good. The other thing about that movie is that I believe Jim Carrey had Dumb and Dumber, The Mask,
had like Ace Ventura around that, yeah.
all in the same like year.
Wow, yeah, he kind of just exploded. Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get back to fitness. Sean says, "Hey guys, I'm doing rite of passage and finishing 5x5 ladders. I want to move up weights next, but also add additional pull-ups. I can do ladders up to 5. How do you recommend bumping those up?"
It's in the program itself. I mean, you know, you go back and you, I don't know, say like you're using the 32 and now you want to use the 36. You go back and you go 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Next workout is 1 2 3 1 2 1. You know, however, you just got to nudge the numbers up on the ladders. Mike Brown has funny stories about my famous experiment trying to do the rite of passage with the 36s. Because I was trying to increase my left side press. Jeez. Yeah, it was a little bit too much load and reps. I was pretty junked up within a few weeks. It's right there in the program itself. Who asked the question?
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Sam. It's right there in the program itself. I think that's Enter the Kettlebell, right?
It's been a long time, but I think that's right. Yeah.
Right. Get a chance, reread the forward because it's brilliant. Yeah.
It's brilliant. All right, let's Let's go to Edward here. Finish with this one. He says, my second kid is going to be born in a month. Any suggestions to help my first kid and everyone adjust easier?
You take that, Patrick.
Guess this is something which I have a little experience with my army of children. I mean, so my first question is, well, how old is your first kid, right?
Yeah.
That's significant, whether or not you can talk with them and help set expectations and all that. I mean, there's always going to be an adjustment period whenever we introduce a new human life form into our little tribe. The immediately older one, is kind of like, well, what the heck's going on here, right? Because they're never that much older, like they're barely able to talk at that point, and there's a bit of rebelliousness, and you can tell some annoyance and stuff like that. Never too bad, but you see it, and we saw it, with our now second youngest Briga, with our newest Angus. Edward says he's 4 going into kindergarten. Okay, so like you can chat with him about things and explain what's going on, and I think that obviously helps a lot. I mean, my best advice is, as far as possible for the kids, try to keep their routine as stable as you can. Children, I think, like adults, are really creatures of routine. They thrive on routine, and the more that routine and the everyday thing gets exploded, I think the more difficult it is. I mean, little things, right? So, Briga, our second youngest, had a particular bedtime routine with mom, and that got interrupted. And we realized, okay, well, let's fix that. So now mom resumes that, and I just take care of the baby to keep that routine going, and that honestly resolved a lot of stuff. And that's really smooth. Yeah, just like so little things like that with the routine help a ton. Obviously, you can't keep everything perfect. Adding a new kid is always a unique challenge and very demanding. I will say this, because people say, how do you do the 6 kids things? Isn't that impossible? I would say the most difficult, honestly, the most difficult was when we had 2 young kids. That was the most difficult time. 2 young kids, for whatever reason, it was harder than 1. Way more difficult than what we have now, because once your kids are older and you have more, the older ones do stuff. They change diapers, they can rock babies, they can do dishes and laundry. They're actually quite helpful, as long as you help them to become helpful. But when you have 2 kids and they're both young, I don't know, that was the hardest part. But do your best you can. Try to keep as much of a routine as possible, and I think you'll do all right. Yeah, Dan.
Well, that's why I turn it over to you. I mean, don't forget too. I mean, gentle listener. I mean, I had to. You're taking me back to 1992, which
it's been a minute.
But watching my my daughters, deal with it. You do what you can. I like what you said there. About the routine. When you said that, my first thought was, yeah, that's the key. Make sure things keep going in the same direction. I got to tell you, I look back sometimes on some of the stuff that happened raising my kids, and I was a miserable failure, but they turned out okay.
We all are. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, look, I don't care how many parenting books you read, this or that. I mean, you really just got to figure out so much of it as you go. You make mistakes, you course correct, you try to keep doing better like anything else. And if you're just paying attention and trying to be like, okay, I dropped the ball on that one, that was not handled well, let me try and do better next time, I think you're going to be just fine. Right.
Yeah. Try to do better. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is these are living creatures. And so just when you think you got it, there's going to be a change,
New challenges, new surprises all the time, different phases of life. Absolutely. Yep. Still learning that. Yep.
When Lindsay stopped wearing diapers, slept in a big kid's bed, and they started to figure out, there's the train. I hear
there's a train. There it is. Yeah.
And they could kind of make their own little foods. I mean, from that moment until middle school, things eased up remarkably.
Yep.
I mean, there's just like this.
There's this phase there that's not too rocky, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then once they started needing me chauffeured everywhere, that started.
Right. Yeah, good, 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 good. All right, Dan, before we say goodbye, what are you working on this week? You got the new book, anything else?
Yeah. In fact, it's for my financial group. While I was getting ready to plug in, you can't see it obviously, but I've taken. I'm reading the book "Die with Zero," and there's a point in the book. I mean, obviously, there's some great things in the book, but he talks about how when you're born, you have plenty of time, you don't have a lot of wealth, and you have a lot of health, and those parameters change through life. So, I'm doing this little assignment where I'm kind of looking back over my life and like what are some good things I did from 0 to 15 that I'm really happy. I got to tell you one thing. I'm really glad now that I was in the great books tradition and we read great books. I'm really happy about that. Just came to my head. I'm glad I took a typewriting class in ninth
Yeah,
grade.
two great things right there. Yeah.
I learned how to lift weights. I mean, there's some things I did in those first 15 years. I learned how to play chess. I learned how to play, Connect Four. And then, as you go through each of these little, I'm calling them buckets. I'm just writing up, and the biggest lesson I'm learning from my looking backwards, I'll be looking, into 61 to 75 is the bucket I'm looking at. I'm living right now. And then I got another bucket called 76 to 90, and I'll include 91 to 105 too later. But how you spend your wealth and resources. So, what do you do with your resources? This November, I'm taking the whole family to Disneyland, and I'm spending a lot of money.
Yeah, Disney's a penny. We got our eye on what's that? The one down there, that new, is it the Epic Universal? Because they have the new Super Mario Disney thing there. So kids, but man, there's a price tag to that
we're
stuff.
doing, we're staying at the Disneyland Hotel. We're doing VIP day. And
ooh, Grandpa's spoiling.
Oh no, because my thought is this: I'll be 68
yeah,
in Disneyland.
Yeah.
How many more times
right?
can I mean, I can wait 20 years so that Daisy's 20. Of course, she won't want to go, and Danny and Joe might have their own kids. That's more, or I can do it now and be alive, do every step, get the 26,000 steps a day. And
yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Edward talks about being a fly on the wall. Actually, I think maybe I should start broadcasting it if the others, because my inner circle is good, Edward, but the weekly financial group, if there's interest, folks, let me know. I mean, I would host a weekly financial group. Maybe not with the members here, but online, because it helps me immensely.
Yeah.
Every inner circle I'm in, every financial group, our weekly conversations, Patrick. This is going to sound horrible to some of the audience, but it's all about me. What's in it for me? What do I don't mean that, but the more we share, the more the more I get to bounce ideas off. Yeah, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, thank you for everything, Dan, for your wisdom as always. Gentle listeners, if you like what you see, then like it, share it, subscribe it, leave a comment. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.